All right, Rico, Guillermo. Okay, we went over the rules in the dressing room. Ya vi las reglas de todo el camerino. I expect a good, clean fight. Que una pelea limpia. This is for the WBA championship. Obey my commands at all time. Protect yourselves at all time. Remember, guys, I'm fair, but I'm firm. Touch them up.
Beat it. Beat it.
Taylor tape for this championship bout. Rigondeaux has used a strength and conditioning coach for the first time. He does look bigger up top, and the fact that he came in 1.5 pounds under the division limit suggests, to me at least, that he is in superb shape. The rules are the unified rules here in Nevada. No standing 8 count, no 3 knockdown. Only referee Joe Cortez can stop the fight. Can't be saved by the bell in any round. If there is an accidental foul that ends the fight before 4, no decision. After that, we go to the cards.
So we're set to go here with round number 1 in this World Championship encounter. Al Bernstein along with Antonio Tarver and Steve Farhood as we get ready to go. And Rigondeaux already with one of those wild left hands that Antonio talked about. He will throw them.
Yeah, I don't think he'll be successful tonight with that punch. You know, throwing it so wild and so wide. I think Rico Ramos is experienced enough to negate that.
Well, if we worried about Rigondeaux moving and not coming forward to throw punches, so far at least, in the early stages of this fight, he's doing it. This is the 3rd straight lefty that Rico Ramos has faced.
Amateur experience, when we talk about Rigondeaux, well, he wrote the book, 2-time gold medalist. Rico Ramos was in the Olympic trials in 08. He was a top American amateur. And in terms of professional experience, well, that number 8 bouts, that does stand out for Guillermo Rigondeaux. Only 35 rounds. Those are numbers of a young prospect fighting on Showbox, not a guy ready to claim the 1st or 2nd highest spot in the junior featherweight division.
Yeah, normally if you're Rico Ramos, a guy like Rico Ramos, you got 130 amateur fights, you won 97, you won a bunch of times. That's pretty good. But when you get in the ring with Rigondeaux, who fought 400 amateur fights and won, reports are more than 380 of them, it doesn't quite match up. Halfway through round number 1, and it's been Rigondeaux coming forward. Now, remember we talked about Rico Ramos saying that he didn't feel comfortable. The nerves got the better of him when he won his world title. Will that affect him here early in his first defense?
Yeah, it seems like he's a little tight. It looks like he's a little dry. Don't see a sweat popping off him right now, but he's just going to have to relax and let his hands go. He can't expect to win a round like this where he's really not engaging. He has to start behind that jab and has to trust it.
And Sakafumi Shimoda, he threw only 39 punches per round, average that according to show stats. And so he was not active in that fight and had to pull it out with a knockout win. Oh, big left hand by Rigondeaux, and Ramos is in trouble. He's down. He is in big trouble, and there is about a half minute left to go in this round.
I thought that was a push in itself. He was hurt.
The knockdown was a push, but the punch did cause an effect.
Rigondeaux lands another straight left hand and pushes Ramos back again. Ramos against the ropes, in some trouble. Another left hand. They are raining down on Ramos.
And this is what happens when you're a natural counterpuncher. You sit back and you wait. Sometimes you wait too long and you get hit with a shot. Now here's the inexperience from Rico Ramos, still being a young fighter. Didn't move and got hit with a couple more big right hands.
He sure did. Round 1 is over, but lots of action. Let's see.
Looked like it was a left hand, to pretty high on the forehead. Now clearly Ramos is in trouble. There's no punch that lands there, and there was enough time between the left hand that hurt Ramos and Ramos going down that I don't think you should have called that a knockdown.
Really?
Was he hurt? Yes. But what? He missed that left hand.
This is an interesting one. Let's go to Chuck Giampa, a former ring official. And Chuck, what's your opinion on this one?
I concur with the referee. I think that was a knockdown. It was an accumulation. There was a little delay, but he did go down, in my opinion, as a result of a punch.
Let's poll the panel, Antonio.
I agree. I know it was the punch that caused the effect from the knockdown, but it looked like he pushed him, and he was hurt bad, though.
Yeah, we head into round number 2, and Steve, I hate to say it, I'm going to agree with the other guys.
I stand alone and proud and proud.
But you're proud. All right, we head into round number 2. That doesn't mean you're wrong.
That's right.
Scheduled for 12, but a shocking development in round number 1. Guillermo Rigondeaux, not known as a monstrous puncher. He's more of a boxer, although against Willie Casey in his last fight, he got a stoppage in that, and he was a terror, beating Casey in his hometown of Dublin, Ireland, and he has come out with the same aggression here in this fight against Rico Ramos. And now Rico Ramos' mission is to right the ship.
Yeah, I don't think it could have been a much worse start for Rico Ramos. And to me, in the long term for this fight, the fact that Rigondeaux's in the pocket and backing up Ramos, that allows Rigondeaux to control the pace. And that's not a good thing for Ramos.
Ramos thought the left hook was going to be his big weapon in this fight, has not used it yet. And he's moving a lot to his right, which is inviting that straight left hand from Rigondeaux. You don't do that against the lefty.
Ramos threw all of 15 punches in the first round.
You'd love to see those guys move to the right so you can throw that straight left hand at him, didn't you?
Oh, most definitely. But again, if you're a slick boxer that has great instincts, you can make a guy miss maybe 2-3 inches and be in position to land a big shot. But it just don't seem like Ramos right now is mentally in this fight when his championship is on the line.
Yeah, there's a lot at stake here. Halfway through round number 2, and we wondered who would be the aggressor. It has been Guillermo Rigondeaux, that's for sure. The 31-year-old former amateur champion who won just about everything as an amateur. Two-time Olympic gold medalist, as Steve pointed out, won countless world championships, and as a pro, he is 8-0. Criticized when he fought Ricardo Cordoba in a fight on the undercard of Pacquiao and Margarito because he fought a very defensive fight in what was supposed to be his coming out party, but he's not defensive tonight.
No, and Rico Ramos, if you told me early on that he wouldn't be punching, I would say because he got countered and he got scared, but he's not getting countered. Rigondeaux's made the fight and has been leading and hurting Ramos. Ramos has to stop moving to his right and he has to let his right hand go a little bit.
And Rico Ramos not getting his left foot outside the right foot of Rigondeaux, and you just cannot beat a lefty unless you do that. He's standing right straight in the pocket and not getting to his left, and he's just not going to beat him that way.
When you look at both counter punches, both guys being counter punches, this is what we were somewhat afraid of, that both guys will start waiting. Nobody's taking initiative to be the aggressor, and they're looking for the perfect shot, and sometimes that's not always good. You want to hit the guy anywhere when it's, you want to land and score points.
It's happened a little bit here in round 2, although Rigondeaux bears a good straight left hand by Rigondeaux. That was probably enough to win that round for him, and he'd been moving forward already. So not a stellar beginning. Reggie Jackson, the trainer of Rico Ramos, a new guy stepping into that corner to talk to him. There's your top super bantamweights.
Yeah, this is my top 10, and the most important name here is the one you don't see, which is pound for pounder Nonito Donaire. That's because Donaire hasn't fought at super bantam yet, but he's going to. He's moving up, and he'll debut in this division in 2 weeks against Vasquez, the former champ who I have number 5. If Donaire wins, he'll immediately join Nishioka and the winner of this fight at the top of the 122 pounders. But outside of those top 3 names, there really isn't much here. Not the strongest of divisions, but pretty strong at the top.
The all-time hit king, Pete Rose, who's a very big boxing fan, and he's on hand here to catch the action.
And I remember Pete was in a very good 8-rounder with Bud Harrelson at second base. Remember that in the playoffs?
Yes, indeed. I think he got the better of that, if I'm not mistaken. All right, we head into round number 3 of this scheduled 12-rounder. It has gotten off to a very good start for Guillermo Rigondeaux, the 31-year-old challenger against 24-year-old Rico Ramos, who's making his first title defense of this 122-pound title. Ramos down in round 1. Got it together a little bit in round 2, but as Antonio pointed out, both men were a little tentative in that round.
Yeah, well, you think about it. Rico Ramos told us he was nervous before his title fight. Rigondeaux, full of confidence, if not cockiness. Well, what's happened in the first 2 rounds, if anything, just makes the Cuban more cocky and confident, and Ramos more nervous and tentative.
Rigondeaux has not lost a boxing match since 2003 in the World Amateur Championships. That's saying a lot. And the power punches tell the story, because Rigondeaux, with those straight lefts, has landed many more.
Yeah, and it's not like Rigondeaux is that busy. It's just that Ramos is not punching at all.
You know, Ramos looks like a deer stuck in headlights right now.
He does. And
seems like he's thinking too much and just won't trust his boxing ability. And I mean, he's a young fighter, still learning on the job, but at this stage, he should know it's time to fight.
Yeah. And go ahead, Alan.
No, go ahead.
Well, he did fight this way with Shimoda for 6 rounds and then scored a one-punch knockout. But he's not in with Shimoda now.
We may be headed for Plan B from Ramos. I don't want to throw that Plan A out yet.
No, Plan A been out the window.
It's gone already. All right, a little over a minute left to go here in round 1, and Ramos now starting to attack a little bit. And lands a little bit of a right hand and a little clutching and grabbing, and Joe Cortez will break them up. We mentioned the new trainers, Salas, the new trainer for Guillermo. Guillermo said that, you know, he's helping me set down on my punches, and we saw a little evidence of that, certainly in round 1.
I'll tell you what, both fighters are not fond of trainers because,
no.
you know, I think they both switched 3 times in their last 3 fights. So once they find somebody they can work with, then they'll be on their way.
6 trainers and 2 fighters, that's a lot. Good body shot by Guillermo Rigondeaux.
That's his best punch, that left hand to the stomach.
And, you know, he uses the jab only as a rangefinder. Antonio made the point, it's not his strong weapon, which you think it would be more prevalent. But in this fight, he's used it at least as a rangefinder. Seconds remaining here in round number 3. Scheduled for 12 for the 122-pound championship. Rico Ramos defending the first time, down in round number 1. And things are not going well for him to this point.
All right.
I need to let them hands go a little bit more, baby. Okay? Yeah. Keep stepping over to your left, throwing that right down to the bottom. But you got to come back with that left hook. All right? Double left hook. Okay? That's good. Take a deep breath. All right? Let them hands go. Right now, you ain't let them hands go. All right, don't get careless, okay? Okay. When he starts.
I need you to switch them, okay? Don't concentrate in the same spot only, all right? All right, let's do it. Give me the Vaseline, please. Breathe in deep, breathe in deep.
All right.
So Ismael Salas, a well-known and renowned Cuban trainer, and they made a big point, Rigondeaux's people, and Rigondeaux did, that the language barrier with Ronnie Shields and Freddie Roach prior to this was a big issue for them, that they needed to have a trainer, especially during fights, that could speak directly to the fighter.
And from a fighter's standpoint, I understand because, you know, sometimes you need to get that message across instantly, you know, and you can't wait to, you know, somebody interpret it for you. You need to hear that message immediately.
Yeah, it's a good point. It'd be like, you'd have to, for you, it'd be like imagining somebody doing that in a corner, and it doesn't feel right to you, does it?
I couldn't imagine it.
That's why Antonio fired that Ukrainian trainer.
Well, you know, who can learn Ukrainian? It's not, you know, even Berlitz, you can't do it. Round 4, and this one is scheduled for 12. I'm Al Bernstein along with Steve Farhood and Antonio Tarver. Andre Ward joined us earlier in the evening and did a great job, and we enjoyed that. And Chuck Giampas here helping us with the scoring and officiating issues. Rigondeaux now has settled in here, and he's the only one throwing punches, but not very many.
Well, I'd like to see Ramos try to time that little flick of a jab of Rigondeaux. It's not really meant to score or to hurt Ramos, but how else? Rigondeaux is so fast that Ramos, when he throws right hands, Rigondeaux just steps back. He sees it coming. How many guys have tried to hit Rigondeaux with a right hand? Basically everybody he's ever fought.
I thought Rico Ramos's plan of throwing those left hooks, double left hooks, which I think is a wonderful weapon against the southpaw, I thought that would be something that might be unique and work in this fight, and he hasn't thrown those punches at all. He hasn't stepped to the left and really set down to throw those hooks. Good left hand by Rigondeaux.
Yeah, Rico Ramos is going to have to just get comfortable enough to just believe in himself. Right now, he's doubting himself. Right now, you know, he's not really sure if he can get in there and land the type of punches that he wants. Right there, you see a slow jab.